y'all? It's the Fighters Replay. My name is Kay. This is Rob, and today we are getting to UFC 307. Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. for the light heavyweight championship of the world. We also have in the co-main event the women's bantamweight championship with the current champion Raquel Pennington facing the former champion and the Ultimate Fighter winner Julianna Pena. So this one is going to be definitely one that you want to stay tuned for. Before we get into the main card and our feelings and deep thoughts of the main card, we are going to start off by a few little prelim shout-outs, because there are definitely some prelim bangers that you cannot miss on this card.
For sure. We got Wonderboy versus Joaquin Buckley in the welterweight division. Very
cannot
exciting.
Miss that. Cannot miss Wonderboy.
Marina Rodriguez, one of the women who always puts on an exciting fight. Amazing footwork. Versus Lucy Endo.
That's a crazy fight, dude.
We even have the retirement fight of double champion Carla Esparza against Tisha Pennington, who is the wife of current champion Raquel Pennington.
Crazy.
Who's going to be fighting in the co-main event.
Crazy.
We even have
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
Ihor Portiera going against Cesar Almeida, who has a win over Alex Pereira in kickboxing, even though he's 1-2, but he has a win over Alex.
10 years ago, but it counts.
Exactly. But with that being said, we have amazing prelims. You guys are going to tune in for it. We're going to tune in for it. But right now, we're going to talk about the main card going into the very first fight. We have Kevin Holland, up or down, anywhere around. Just keep Kevin around. Versus Roman Dolidze. Roman is coming off his fight against Anthony Smith at light heavyweight. He's moving back down in weight to middleweight to be fighting Kevin. I think Roman is gonna be a lot stronger than Kevin. I think he's gonna have a takedown threat he's gonna be able to utilize. But Kevin also has Kevin's really lengthy and he's very fast. He's picky and he's got some fast weapons on him. Mm-hmm. I think he's definitely able to catch Roman. I think he would have to catch Roman with something crazy to be able to hurt him and put him away, because I think that Roman has got a chin on him.
Yeah.
But I think that Roman wins this by decision, by ground control time. But I think Kevin is definitely capable of pulling something off, because it's Kevin fucking Holland.
No, for real.
We've seen it against fucking Michael Chiesa.
Yep.
I didn't think he was gonna. I thought he was gonna KO him.
Michael Olajaysic.
Michael Olajaysic too.
I feel like Kevin Holland has to finish this fight though, because I feel like with the wrestling of Dolidze, I feel like in the ground control time, like you brought up, I feel like he can't be comfortable winning a decision here. He has to throw some crazy strikes, or he has to throw something crazy off of his back, because we have seen his submission game come alive. Of course, his striking is always just unorthodox and very tuned to him, and a lot of fighters have trouble kind of picking up on it, especially in the earlier rounds. But I think this is going to be a good fight. I mean, Roman Dolidze, a real good fighter. I feel like in his last few fights, we've definitely seen his improvement. But this is going to be a good leveling fight. I feel like this is really solid. It can honestly go either way. I think it's just whose night it is.
In the next bout, we have a possible, I would say even it might be a title contention eliminator between Kayla Harrison versus Vieira. Kayla Vieira's been in the UFC definitely longer than Kayla Harrison has. She's fought more UFC competition. Kayla is coming off her win against Holly Holm, a former champion who may be older, but that win still does hold weight. And I do think that Kayla Harrison is going to be the superior grappler in this matchup, and I would always put my money on the grappler. I think that Caitlin's best shot at winning this fight. I just feel like if your best shot at beating Kayla Harrison is knocking her out, I already feel like that's already not a good step for you.
Here's the thing, though. I think that Vieira has definitely a lot more of a chance than what people are giving her. In her last fight, we were really able to see her grappling. Now, I don't think she's going to want to grapple with Kayla Harrison, because who the fuck would actually want to do that and test that? It would not definitely be, it would be like the very last game plan of worst case scenario of things that could happen. I mean, of course, you're going to have to prepare that, knowing you're fighting Kayla Harrison. But in her last fight, we were really able to see her top control. We were able to see her submission defense, her ability to flow in between positions and land ground and pound. I don't think she is as strong as Kayla Harrison is in grappling for sure. But we have seen a lot more of her against UFC potential, being more
For
of
sure.
a mixed martial artist. But in Caitlin Vieira's last fight, she was really able to land some solid strikes. She was, but also she had the takedown threat over her opponent, so that also opened up a lot more of her striking. What is it going to be like when the other opponent has the real big grappling threat? Is she going to be able to land those strikes as accurately and make those connections? I don't know. I don't know if those connections are going to do anything. Kayla's a tough-ass motherfucker. But at the same time, Kayla cuts a lot of fucking weight, dude. A lot of weight. We saw her on the scale last time. I feel like it's hard to judge because it was her first time making 135. Because she's like fucking jacked and shredded at 155, at 165 even.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I think a lot of this fight weighs on the weight cut.
How do you think this fight ultimately plays out?
If I were to say anything, I think it would be Kayla by a decision. I don't know if she would be able to submit her.
I think it would if Kayla stops her, it's gonna be late. But I would also lean.
I
towards
agree.
decision.
It would have to be late for sure,
Yes.
like late second round or the third round even. I would really wish this was a 5-round fight, but that would be
Should
me
be
personally.
all title contender. All title elimination fights should be 5-rounders, in my opinion. But that's
But considering
here
you're
or
fighting
there.
for the belt in the co-main event, it does kind of make sense for a 3-rounder. But still, I think it's going to be a good fight. I think a lot of people are not giving. I feel like a lot of people are not giving Caitlin Vieira the credit that she deserves in this fight. Don't get me wrong. Kayla Harrison is hella hype and deserves all the hype. She has done a lot and is on the path to absolute greatness. But this is going to be a big test for her to see where she levels on UFC potential. So it's just going to be a good fucking fight.
For sure.
You need to tune in for it. Sorry for my deep analysis. I'm really invested in this specific fight. But in the next one, we have the former champion and the legend himself, Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. Dude, give me your breakdown on this.
Mario Bautista is a very young, exciting up-and-comer. He's a dude who's really good, well-rounded mixed martial artist. Jose Aldo is somebody who is a legend who's been in the UFC for a while. He has boxing experience, kickboxing experience. He just has so much experience over Mario. But is that necessarily a good thing? Because he's going to have a lot of miles on his body. He's going to have a lot of tracks on him. He has a lot more damage on him than Mario is ever going to have. It's also the factor of the mindset. Who's going to be hungrier for this win? The old dog trying to come back in and prove that he's still big dog in town, or the young and up-and-comer who wants to prove that, this is the young man sport. Usually this is the young man sport. But Jose Aldo, since he's came back in his fight against Jonathan Martinez, he has proved that he has looked amazing. This is another test and step to see where Jose Aldo is still standing at. We got to see. That's crazy. Was that just one off night? Probably not. But we're going to see. This is going to be a really good fight. I think it's going to be very back and forth. And I think this fight ends in a finish. I don't know for who, but I feel like one of these guys is going to be hungry to want to take the other out. And I feel like one of these guys is going to want to try to make a statement. Should Jose Aldo win this fight? Now you're starting to be back in the talks of fighting Henry Cejudo or even Sean O'Malley now that he's no longer champion. The UFC would jump on the first train for that shit.
Not for real,
if
they
Jose
would.
did. But
Danielson
have to see.
Figueiredo kind of comes first, I guess.
For sure. But either way, it's going to be a very exciting fight. If I had to lean towards some way, I'm going to lean towards with bias and go with Jose Aldo just because I want him to win. I love Jose Aldo. I'm a big fan. But I wouldn't be upset if Mario could pull it off too, because Mario is a very, very exciting and really, really respectable, awesome, young fighter.
Yeah, I think that Mario Bautista is definitely on the come up. His last fight up against Ricky Simon, that shit was a great fight. He was really able to display all of his skills around the octagon. But like you said, if anybody knows their way around the octagon, it's going to be Jose Aldo. Bro has just been around, has faced the toughest of the tough, and is just a fucking legend. There's no way around it.
There was a point in time in featherweight where he was undefeated for 7 years, until a dude named Conor McGregor came through. But here nor there,
have to talk about that.
7 years is insane. There's not a lot of fighters that could keep that up. But if we're going to talk about champions, it's time to talk about the champion right now, Raquel Pennington, who is going up against Julianna Pena, the Ultimate Fighter winner, and also the former Bantamweight champion of the world. She has a win over Amanda Nunes. Julianna Pena is an amazing, very exciting fighter. She is hands down, action-packed. But Raquel Pennington, she has shown improvement in a lot of her recent fights too. In her last fight against Mayra Bueno Silva for the title, she showed a lot of improvement in her hands. And I think that's one thing that's going to be key. I feel like for this fight, I think Julianna is going to win. However, what I really think determines this fight is who's going to have like the better mindset for this fight, in my opinion. I feel like whoever wants it more, I feel like both of these women are capable of beating each other. I just feel like it's really going to depend on who wants it more, who wants to make a legacy for themselves. And, because Raquel, not a lot of people were expecting her to win against Mayra. Not a lot of people are expecting her to beat Julianna Pena. Let's see if that shit can fucking motivate her to still and stay and become Ant Still. Or let's see if Julianna become Ant New twice. See if she can become a 2-time champion. And let's see if she can actually, defend the belt should she be able to get it. She might even get that Amanda Nunes fight. Both of these girls got a lot at stake for this fight. So it's really, really, really important. Whoever wins this will put themselves in a much better position than before. But I'm putting my money on Peña if I was a betting man.
Yeah. I mean, you make every valid point. I feel like a lot of people are overlooking this fight because of, I guess, kind of the story behind it. Peña's kind of always been a shit talker, if that makes sense. And because of that, I feel like she gets written off a lot because of the things that she says. But when you really look at her fights, that woman is a fucking dog, dude. Not only has she done what a lot of women have tried and failed to do and beat Amanda Nunes once, even though Amanda Nunes came back and, of course, redeemed her belt. In that rematch, Peña was tested to the ultimate capability. She was getting beat the fuck down. And that woman just kept coming up. She kept getting up. She kept fighting. She kept working. And I will give credit to Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes, after the fight, did say she was playing with her food. Fair. It's Amanda fucking Nunes. Who's going to argue that? But still, regardless, you got to see Peña for what she is. I mean, she's a fucking dog. Her ground and pound is some of the nastiest in the division. She's always trying to look to finish the fight. She's full of just power and action and just trying to fucking suffocate her opponent. And I feel like that aggressive style plays so well in her favor, and it has in the past. I feel like it plays so well for her. The reason why I don't know if it will play well for her up against Raquel is because Raquel is very vetted. Raquel has faced a lot of really tough opponents. Raquel, I think she's on like a 6-fight winning streak right now. She's the current champion. She's worked her way up. She has just worked and grinded and grinded and grinded and grinded. And now she's finally in a championship spot where she is defending her belt. I feel like this is very, very important for Raquel. But like you said, I think this is going to be a fight for the testament of a woman's will versus a woman's will. And I don't know who wants it more. I don't know who wins this one, if I'm going to be honest. But if I see somebody finishing the fight, it is definitely going to be Peña. Definitely going to be Peña finishing the fight. That's my opinion. If it does win by finish. If it goes to a decision, I don't know. It could be a toss-up.
A fight that's definitely, in my opinion, I feel like a guaranteed finish is the main event, and Alex Poatan Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. for the light heavyweight championship of the world. These are two scary dudes, and I feel like that.
Scary is an understatement, dude.
I feel like Rountree is a good fighter.
He is.
I just feel like with his style, it's almost kind of suited for Alex's style of fighting. With the way that Khalil Rountree likes to throw a lot of his looping and wide shots, I feel like Alex is kind kind of well accustomed and well tuned to like being able to like counter people now. Not even now, just like always.
Yeah.
I feel like
his ability
this
to find a shot.
Because like this fight could really very well be who just lands the first shot. It's that high stakes. The second that this fight starts, it's very, very high stakes. Both of these gentlemen both of these guys cannot afford to get hit at all. It doesn't matter if it's a jab, it doesn't matter if it's a cross kick, kick to the body, kick to the leg. One of these guys hits the other guy, it's gonna fucking hurt the other motherfucker.
Yeah,
and
for real.
We're gonna see these guys go to fucking war. I think it's gonna end in the finish, but if I want to put my money on someone, and I know I'm not going that well in depth to it, but it's
Go ahead, it's the main event.
It's just I just don't know how much more in detail I could go into it than that. I feel like Khalil Rountree is a great like Muay Thai like style of fighter, but I just feel like when it comes to like MMA, I don't feel like it's like the best technique for MMA to like become like a champion with. I think it's very exciting. I think it's a style that can get you a lot of knockouts, but I think it's a style that might become a problem when you come across somebody else who's super high level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However, it's a style that is very capable of putting lots of people to sleep, and it could even put Alex to sleep. I don't think it will, but it could. But Alex, in my opinion, I just feel like has more offensive tools. I think he's the better striker. I think he's faced way tougher competition than Khalil has. Even though Khalil's been in the UFC, been in the game longer. I feel like Alex has already faced
he's had what,
how
5
many
title
former
shots?
champions. Yeah, it's just, but like I said, but you never know. Every underdog can have their night, and I think Khalil definitely does have a puncher's chance, but I just think that Alex is gonna be able to find that. I feel like it's gonna come from like a counter. I think we're probably gonna be in for another left hook.
That's the thing that worries me, and I've rewatched quite a bit of film on both of these guys for this fight because I'm really back and forth about it. I'm a big fan of Khalil Rountree. I really don't want to see dude lose. Like, it just kind of really sucks because Alex Pereira is such a beast, and he's so fucking good, and he's such a strong striker that you love him, of course. Everybody loves him. Like, he's a fucking, he shows up and he shows out, and that's what he fucking does best. And he is literally, quite literally, the face of the UFC right now. But,
crazy.
But I've been a fan of Khalil Rountree for a while, and everybody that Alex faces is a fighter that I really like, and all of them fucking lose. Except for the one Izzy win, but we don't have to talk about it. It doesn't really count because realistically Alex won on all ends of that trade. Not even.
But that's neither here nor there.
But that's neither here nor there. The point is, in the present, Khalil Rountree is a very dear fighter to me, and I am biased as well in this fight. I really don't like.
Biased in this fight.
I just really no. I'm saying you said you were biased earlier.
I said for the Jose Aldo fight. Oh, okay.
I'm just saying I'm biased here in this one because Khalil Rountree, that dude just. Part of me does just want to remember the power that Khalil has. I feel like he is definitely one of the more powerful strikers that Alex has faced. I want to say of the strikers that Alex has faced, this is definitely going to be some tough competition. This is going to be the perfect stylistic fight. And when we were talking about this earlier, I feel like the kind of cliche with MMA is that if you have a striker versus a striker, they're going to go to the ground. If you have a wrestler versus a wrestler, they're going to stand and bang. Do I think that this is the case in the fight? No.
I feel like it's more true for wrestlers.
It definitely is. But I feel like it is a possibility, though.
It is.
It is. I feel like
if they
are able to use the cage, I feel like if one of them can end up getting their back to the cage, I think that Khalil gets put on the back foot.
I think that if somebody
just as a smaller fighter, but I think the cage is really where we're gonna find out what happens. Now we've seen Alex, really start training his grappling, really, focus in on that. But we haven't seen too much out of his grappling. And when we do see his grappling, it's not bad. It's not bad. But it's very awkward. And maybe that's just like from a grappler's perspective, maybe I'm being extremely critical. And who the fuck am I to say anything? He's the world champion and he's one of the greatest fighters right now, period.
Yeah,
whether he's got a ground game or not. But regardless, you know, there's possibilities. There are possibilities here. But one thing that I love is that regardless, both of these fighters, if they sense the finish, they fucking go for it. And this is going to be the moment that makes or breaks things. Because remember, when Alex Pereira got knocked out, Izzy kind of baited him. He was up against the cage, and he kind of baited him like he was hurt. Then he was able to find the counter. Given he was cutting down to 185, and he said that his body really wasn't, you know, great with that cut down to 185. Whatever he says now is neither here nor there. But then that's what he was saying. Not saying that that was his excuse, because he still got caught and you still signed up for the fight. You can't blame it on anything. But that is a point to figure out. That is a point to make, I feel like. I feel like that is a point to make. Alex cannot get too ahead of himself in this, because I feel like Khalil is a threat at all points and times. We have seen him hurt and we have seen him come back. So I feel like still, regardless, this is a very, very serious fight for Alex. But either way, I think that if Alex does win this, I mean, he's got every right in the world to move up or down. He's kind of toyed with both ideas at heavyweight and back down at middleweight against
Should Khalil win? I think the rematch would be fun.
Rematch would be really fucking fun. And on top of that, with my final prediction, I do hope that Khalil Rountree does win. And I agree with you that I believe that there's going to be a finish either way. There's no way in hell that this goes five rounds. But I could be totally wrong. It could be a fucking war. Who am I to say? But
it could be boring. You never know.
For real, it could be a boring ass decision.
I mean, shit. I thought Francis versus Derek Lewis was gonna be fucking bonkers. Shit, y'all. I thought that shit taught me any fight can be fucking boring, regardless of who it is. So we never know. We'll have to see. But regardless, this is really interesting. It is definitely some tough competition for Alex. It is a good test to him, but if anything, this is the bigger test for Khalil Rountree. That being said, I think that's about it, y'all. I think that's about it. Yeah. I mean, UFC 307, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree. We're coming fresh off of Paris, which was an amazing card. So many finishes, and now we're about to see a lot fucking more. We're ready. We hope you're ready. Tune in, follow, like, subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments. Follow us on our shows at The Fighters Replay. We'll see you motherfuckers later. Be ready to fucking show down. Peace.
You can't break me, I got iron bones. My ground game will leave your mind blown. I'm ready to fight in any time zone. I'm the greatest, you can call me John Jones. Knocking clowns out like I'm Stipe. We can even fight on the freeway. I'ma leave them bloody right where he lay. This is The Fighters Replay.